Hey guys, welcome to Spoiler Alert with me, Cinephile Sanket. And in this episode, I have invited Satakshi Banerjee, who is the founder of Filmspell. So, Filmspell is an online forum which reviews films and talks about cinema in general as well. So, in this episode, Satakshi and I are discussing this great film called Bacurau, which premiered in the 2019 Cannes Film Festival and which was also competing for the same award what Parasite was competing. So Bacurau is currently streaming on Mubi. So first watch that film on Mubi and then watch this spoiler-filled discussion over here.
Hello everyone, this is Satakshi Banerjee. Welcome to my podcast, and today my guest is Sanket Mistry. Hello Sanket.
Hi Satakshi, it's been a real pleasure and an honor to be on your show, to be on your
I know
podcast.
that. I know that. It's an amazing podcast, right?
Yeah, as well. Like I follow it from my bottom of my heart, and like I watch every episode of it.
Okay, I got your point. Now let's become serious. Today, the movie which we are going to discuss is a Portuguese movie. It's called Bacurau. Sanket, over to you.
Yeah, so it's a Brazilian movie with like Portuguese language. I just love it. Uh, like I obviously I got to know about this film in 2019. Since this film won the jury prize in the 2019 Cannes Film Festival, and actually this is a real interesting story about watching this film for me. What happened was I first watched Les Miserables. Actually, this like Les Miserables was the co-winner of that award, and I watched it and I was shocked by watching it, and I was like, what is this film like? I think this film would be I thought that this film would be nowhere compared to Les Miserables, and Les Miserables was next level, and that's the thing. But obviously, since on your recommendation I watched this film, and when I watched it, okay, actually the Les Miserables and Bacurau is actually a very a tough competition in their own, because I feel both are very political film. But coming back to Bacurau, this was a great satire. I would say, to some extent, this was a satire, but uh, to some extent, this was also a great critic to the current Brazilian government, which is actually welcoming all those foreigners inside the country to have the natural resources of the villages. And that's actually was the very best part of the film for me, because saying this kind of a great universal kind of a message in a film with all the with a huge amount of symbolism actually takes a very like kind of a very it actually only very few people, I should say, can actually uh, convey this kind of message through symbolism, I think. And and actually this last film actually I watched was, I think, Paul Schrader's First Reformed, and that was kind of a very political kind of a thing, very and I felt like that was also very this film was also very great in saying how uh, political this film was. So also I wanted to know that how was your film, how this film impacted you?
Um, my friend Kaustav Chakravarti, when he recommended the movie, then I searched Google and it showed that it's on Prime, but it's actually not on Prime. It's on movie, and I don't have movie subscription, so you know from where I watched it. My first impression about the film was it's a weird western. Seriously, it's a western, but it's with a twist. It's really a very confused movie, complicated movie, and a wonderful movie. Wonderful movie. What you were saying that it is based on Brazil's political scenario, but what I think that this movie has a very universal appeal, the foreign invasion thing, the foreigners who just attack each and every land, and their novelty gets lost in some ways. I mean, the land's novelty, that is what is shown in the movie. Even in a tribal area, or take a jungle or a forest, when someone tries to, kill all those animals, cut down all the trees, build dams on the rivers, this is what happens. But if we see it from a, what to say, fairy tale kind of a thing, what if all these animals, what if all those trees, what if all the rivers, they just gang up and they try to fight back, then you will get Bacurau. So the pure essence of the movie is about this, that when all these innocent creatures, innocent people, innocent land is being attacked by foreigners who are just guided by lust and greed, then those innocent people will at first get killed, but at the climax, they will just, what to say, with all the weaponries they have, they will just gang up against those evil foreigners. I just love the movie, especially the third act. Oh my god. It was like a very slow burner. People should be patient with the first half of the movie, but the climax is like boom. Yeah.
Wow, that actually same thing happened for me as well. Like what happened was I felt like I was expecting to be this film to be an indie film, a
Hmm.
very low budget indie film, but it turned out to be such a great mainstream kind of film with all those music and kind of like having a very happy kind of ending, like where the village actually represent a great hero, and he comes to save all those people, and like I was just shocked about it. And like the best part of the film for me was actually when the foreign guy, when he was actually getting in the underground jail, and he actually told that this is just the beginning. And I was very shocked about this, that he at that moment only that I felt that okay, this is a kind of a political film, and this is a very socially relevant film in our times, not just for Brazil, but for other countries as well. Like this is an alarm for all those nationalist governments, nationalist head of states who are just not thinking about the welfare of the people of the country, but only thinking about how to get rich. And that's this is such a great way to critique all those nationalist regimes in the world. And obviously, since Brazil is also one of them, and that was actually one for me one of the great thing about the film. uh, about like I was shocked about in one scene where the whole village was getting united and trying to kill the guys who were actually the people who were actually doing like creating this kind of chaos. And that was one of the best
Attacking
parts.
them for no reason.
Exactly, like they hadn't so this I
That was
felt.
so weird. Now, if they kill villagers, they will get some points.
But yeah, that's the thing. But even I felt that this attack was like some days, some months in a making, because what like they didn't just attack in once. What they did was they first flew in one of those flying saucers. Then they sent two people to just jam to create like to place a jammer in the village. And then obviously they eventually killed those two people. But this was all those in the making, like all those events later they actually attacked it. And how greatly the filmmakers actually, when they wrote it very smartly they wrote it, since this like whenever someone is doing something bad, when they don't do it, they actually like plan out everything in general, and then they attack the village. So this was actually a very great thing about the film. I liked about it. But I wanted to ask you, what was your favorite thing about this film, favorite scene in this film?
Favorite scene where one of my friends, he was complaining that there is just too much of sex in the movie, but I think sex is just part of the movie. It's not like it has been forced into it. So there is a scene, two elderly people, they were stark naked and they were doing something. uh, I'm not sure, it was a nursery or a greenhouse kind of a thing. They would I forgot that scene. I mean, it's very much blurry in my memory. Two elderly people, they were probably taking care of some plants when they were attacked,
Yeah,
and they
but
just, yeah, they came out with two shotguns and they just shot those hunters. That was my favorite scene, and they were stark naked, total frontal nudity.
it's still like I think that doesn't matter for me, but still like
That was
that was.
that actually showed the innocence of the movie, the innocence of those villagers in Bacurau. they
uh,
they had homosexuals, they had prostitutes, they had this nudity. All things were shown in such an innocent manner. Don't you think that?
yeah, I think that kind of culture represented the tribes which are actually very remote to us, and kind of they represented those tribes actually. And actually Amazon jungles also belong to Brazil. I think I may be wrong, but I think Amazon jungles belong to Brazil, and they kind of the entire village actually represented those tribes. And I think you said that a pretty great point about that people. And I also love that scene because not just those two people being naked, but
Yeah, because
when they.
I was just keeping my fingers crossed. Oh my God, these two innocent old people, they are going to get killed. But yes, they just came out with those shotguns. That was fun. That was really fun.
Actually, yeah, they just got shot. And like obviously this like the way they got killed, I didn't expect. Sorry, I expected this to be very brutal and very bloody, but obviously since I don't watch that kind of bloodiness and all kind of things in Hollywood films and even in Indian films, I was kind of shocked. But yeah, like what the hell, this is a words in a film, so I should expect this kind of brutality, violence, and gore. Like I think that was one of my favorite scene in the film.
I am just an LVT fan. Last One Trier is one of my favorite directors. So I'm very much used to all this nudity and all this violence and weird stuff.
Oh wow, same here. I'm not like I'm also a fan of his films. I just watched Dancer in the Dark and Melancholia, but obviously since both of like only Melancholia was a kind of very graphic and kind of
Such a
thing.
depressing movie it was.
Yeah, obviously. But coming back to this film, like
Yeah, Bacurau.
final thoughts about this film.
If you want to watch it, please don't go with any expectation, because this movie is like it's going to appeal you to a different level. I would say, because I watched this movie, my perception was something. Sanket watched it. He just told me totally different things about this movie. So it's not political, it's not social, it's weird. Just watch it at your own risk, and you are definitely going to love this. And watch it without any expectation.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, like I think it's
Great, great movie. It's a great movie, but you really need to be quite patient with it. It's a slow burner. The first two acts will be slow, and the third act will be like boom, boom, boom.
the
And probably there will be a sequel. Sanket,
Hmm.
it's just the beginning when the foreigner says that. Probably
No,
there will be a.
there won't be a sequel. So I know that because that was actually a symbolism that we are not just the only foreign people which are who will be coming to this village. There will be much more people.
Exactly. I think probably that's the reason that the old guy, I mean, the leader of all those foreign invaders, he wasn't killed. He was just buried alive. So the problem is still there. It is not being uprooted. Probably in near future, it will again spring up. What do you say?
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like he was buried alive, but that that final thing actually stuck into my head that okay, this is just the beginning. But obviously, like I'm frankly speaking, I didn't get it for the first time. But after since that was the final dialogue of the film, I was like I just didn't do anything. But I actually just kept thinking about this film, and when I kept thinking about it, I then realized that okay, this can be interpreted to this because this can be interpreted like though this is not the first, this is not the last people, the last foreigners who will be actually
Yeah.
coming to this place. And
I
but
mean, just getting rid of them won't get rid of the problem. There will be
exactly,
more foreign invaders in future.
exactly, and even even this
Their own people, their own people, the town mayor or whatever that little guy was, or those
actually
bikers,
I actually thought that he actually represented the current president of Brazil. And
president of
in
Brazil.
one
Yeah.
scene, actually, in I think it was in the end that when he actually gets a brand new car, a very sophisticated car,
Mm.
and when he gets that car, it was actually intended only for that those foreigners. But actually he got shocked that okay, where are all those guys, and they are actually dead. And it was a pretty great revenge film where they also killed the mayor who actually represented the president of Brazil
Mhm.
in real life. But that was actually great for me, like those symbolisms and kind of a mainstream heroism, happy ending kind of film. But since they had a happy ending in the film, at the end, the antagonist, the foreign guy, actually realized us that this in real life, this we are not the last. There will be more people who will be coming, and uh, that was very creatively and very smartly put out in this film. And it was like into the face to all those people who are like those nationalist people.
There was another thing, Sanket, I'd love to say. All these villages from Bacurau, they were shown that they have a wide range of acceptance. I mean, they were accepting all those people, the whores, the homosexuals, everyone. But these foreigners, the so called white people, the sophisticated folk, when those two Portuguese bikers, they started to talk in their native language to each other. The foreign leader, he just interrupted and said, "You can only speak in English." So they can't accept the people the way they are. That was probably symbolic.
That actually, yeah, that was actually very symbolic to what imperialism did with all those eastern, all those eastern Asian, like Asian countries, and as well as all those South American countries which were invaded by the European powers. And like that was a very great point you actually made. I didn't realize that, but since you just said about it, I I actually thought about that scene right now.
This
And
is what happens when you watch a single movie for 5, 6 times.
oh wow, that's
It's
great.
a
That's
great,
great. That's
it's a
great.
great film. You know, Sanket, what is the sad part? Not many people are aware of this gem, and not many people talk about this.
You
That
know
was
what?
really sad. I'm so
Because
happy that you came out with this idea that we both can talk about this in this
you
podcast.
know why? Because that year Parasite was trending, and it was trending a lot, and it won the Palme
Mhm.
d'Or. It won and later it went on to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. We all rooted for Parasite, but obviously these kind of a low, not a low budget, but yeah, the lower award winning films actually got neglected, I feel. But a great way to discuss this film, since obviously I also didn't even think about this film after you recommending this film to me. And thank you so much for doing this to me. And also I want to end this conversation by thanking you to my coming to my show, and it's been a real pleasure having you on my show. And I'm actually hoping that you will also be coming again to discuss some
Of
great
course, but
hidden
next
gems.
time we will be doing something from regional cinema, right? Indian regional film.
Sure, yeah, we can also work on that. Okay, yeah,
Depending
that's
on
sure, sure. Anything would do, but yeah, we'll do something on a hidden gem. Uh,
yeah.
so thank you so much, Satakshi, and
Let me finish. Thank you so much, Sanket, for inviting me. Thank you so much. And thank you for tolerating me.
no, 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 no. So yeah, thank you so much, and see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.